When a crisis happens, you will not lack money. You will lack very small things, and these are the 12 items that disappear first. Most people think they can buy anything when needed, but when shelves are empty, when supply is disrupted, money cannot buy what no longer exists. And that is when you realize what you need is not expensive items, but very ordinary things. Things you use every day, but never think about until they are gone. These are the things that when you need them, you will not have time to go look for. And do not skip item number 7, because when you need it, it is usually already gone. 12. Lighter. Let's start with something most people underestimate: the lighter. A small, cheap item you can buy at almost any convenience store for just about $1 to $2. But in a crisis, this tiny object can become one of the most valuable assets you own. Because a lighter is not just a tool, it is a way to create fire. And fire is the foundation of survival. You need fire to cook when there is no electricity. You need fire to stay warm when temperatures drop. You need fire to boil water, support hygiene, and keep your environment safer. A small lighter can provide dozens, even hundreds of uses. The price is cheap, but the value is not. In many prolonged outages, what causes difficulty is not lack of food, but not having a way to cook or stay warm. And that is when you realize something very simple. Having fire or not makes a huge difference. Think of it simply. You can live without many things. But if you cannot create fire, you are losing one of the most basic tools to protect yourself and your family. In cold conditions, a small flame does not just bring comfort, it can save your life. That is why you should not rely on just 1 or 2 lighters. A household should prepare more. Around 10 to 20 is reasonable, because they are cheap, easy to lose, and can run out of fuel or fail when you need them most. Simple disposable lighters are often more reliable, because they do not depend on batteries or complex mechanisms. When one fails, you need another immediately, not time to go looking for it. You should also not keep them all in one place. Store them in different locations, in your emergency kit, in your car, at home, and if possible, in your everyday bag. Because in an unexpected situation, what you need most must already be within reach. When everything is still normal, lighters are easy to buy, and almost no one pays attention to them. But when supply is disrupted, or when many people need the same thing at the same time, simple items like this disappear from shelves very quickly. Not because they are expensive, but because everyone realizes their value at once. That is why small, cheap, and easy-to-prepare items can create a big difference when situations change. Remember this: a small lighter may not seem important today, but at the moment you need it, it can be what helps you stay in control. Am I missing the basics? 11. Waterproof matches. Most people only prepare a single lighter, and that is a mistake. Because in reality, nothing works forever. A lighter can run out of fuel, it can break, or worse, it fails at the exact moment you need it most. And when that happens, you do not want to be in a situation where you have no way left to create fire. That is when waterproof matches become extremely valuable. Unlike regular matches, this type is designed to work in harsh conditions. Even in wet environments, rain or strong wind, it can still ignite and burn steadily. When everything around you is damp and cold, a match that can light is no longer a small thing. It is an advantage. And what is worth noting is, it is extremely cheap. With just a few dollars, you can have a backup option. something that can make the difference between having a hot meal or staying cold and hungry. Most people buy one lighter and think that is enough. But in a crisis, the issue is not that you have one tool. It is whether you have a backup when that tool fails. Waterproof matches do not need to be many, but they must be there. Just a few boxes stored in sealed, moisture-proof containers already create an extra layer of safety for yourself. Keep them in your emergency kit, in your car, or anywhere you can access immediately when needed. Small things like that. You do not want to start looking for them when you need them. In normal life, a single match has almost no value. But when you cannot create fire, it becomes something you are willing to trade for. A match can help you cook, stay warm through a cold night, or simply keep you from becoming helpless. And when others can no longer create fire, they will start looking for those who can. In those situations, a small box of matches can be traded for food, water, or help. Remember this: you do not need just one way to create fire. You need multiple ways. 10. Batteries when everything is still working normally. Batteries are just a small item you barely notice. But when the power goes out, everything changes immediately. Lights go out. The house goes dark. No more charging your phone. No more light. No more information. And at that point, the devices you have, flashlights, radios, even some medical equipment, only have value if you have batteries to power them. That is why batteries are not a luxury, but a backup power source. At their core, batteries do not create comfort. They keep essential things running when the main system stops. A small flashlight can help you move safely in the dark. A battery-powered radio can become your only source of information when everything else goes silent. And when everything falls into darkness, light is no longer an option. It is safety. In prolonged outages, people quickly realize one thing: the devices are still there, but without power, they are useless. That is when batteries show their true value. Batteries are something you can buy very cheaply when everything is normal, especially in bulk. But what matters is not the price when you buy them. It is their value when you can no longer buy them. When widespread outages happen, batteries are often one of the first items to disappear from shelves. Not because they are expensive, but because everyone needs them at the same time. That is why preparing in advance is always easier and much cheaper. You should store batteries in a dry place, avoid high temperatures, and most importantly, rotate your supply. Do not let them sit so long that they expire. Use the older ones first and replace them with new ones to ensure they actually work when needed. In addition, do not store just one type. Check the devices you have and prepare the correct battery sizes, because in real situations, having the device but not the right batteries is the same as having nothing. When things are stable, batteries are just a small item. But when power is gone, they become what helps you maintain light, information, and control. And when others start to run out of power, they will look to those who still have it. You are not just storing batteries, you are storing the ability to operate. Imagine a night of complete blackout, everything in darkness, and only a few people have light. They do not just see the way, they have the advantage. Remember this: when power disappears, batteries become power. If the power went out today, how long would your batteries last? 9. Toilet paper. In March 2020, in less than 48 hours, millions of rolls of toilet paper disappeared from supermarkets across the United States. Not because of supply shortages, but because everyone bought at the same time. And what is worth noting is, The first thing to disappear was not premium food, but the most basic items. Many people had to go from store to store, but still could not buy any. Some had to use paper towels, wet wipes, or anything they could find as a substitute. And only when they were in that situation did they realize something very simple, but very real. There are things you do not think about until you no longer have them. What people do not realize is, toilet paper is something almost no one pays attention to. It is always there, cheap, easy to buy, and you can get it anytime without thinking. But with just a small disruption, everything changes immediately. Empty shelves are not because it is rare, but because of crowd behavior. Everyone thinks I should get a little more, and in a very short time, something that seemed endless completely disappears. In terms of use, toilet paper is not a luxury. It is a basic daily need, and in difficult conditions. When hygiene becomes limited, anything that helps you stay clean becomes even more important. Not just for comfort, but to avoid unnecessary health issues. And when you do not have it, you understand the value of that normalcy. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest items you can stock. With a small amount of money, you can buy in bulk and cover your needs for a long time. Just keep it in a dry place, away from moisture, and it can be stored without concern. But there is something many people overlook. Toilet paper is light, but bulky. And that is why when things become tense, you almost have no chance to buy enough. By the time you realize you need it, it is usually too late. When everything is normal, you can buy it any time. But during disruption, it becomes one of the fastest items to disappear. Not because it is more important than others, but because everyone needs it every day at the same time. Some things seem small until you no longer have them. In situations of shortage, a roll of toilet paper is no longer cheap. It becomes something of real value. When others do not have it, they will start finding ways to get it, sometimes willing to trade other things just to get a few rolls. You do not prepare toilet paper because it is special. You prepare it because you know it will disappear very quickly. If you could not buy more tomorrow, how long would what you have last? 8. Soap, what kills many people in a crisis, is not hunger. It is disease. The problem is, soap is so simple that you almost never notice it. It is always available, very cheap, and you use it every day as a habit. But when living conditions change, when clean water is limited, when the surrounding environment is no longer safe, soap is no longer normal. It becomes one of your first lines of defense. In many crisis situations, the issue is not immediate lack of food, but the increasing risk of disease. When hygiene declines, bacteria and infections are what create long-term consequences. You can endure hunger for a while, but infection does not wait for you to prepare. Imagine not being able to wash your hands properly for days. Everything you touch, food, drinking water, small wounds, becomes a risk. And at that point, staying clean is no longer about comfort. It is about protecting your health, even your life. A small bar of soap can help you clean your hands, clean your body, reduce the risk of infection, and keep your living environment safer. It is not medicine, but in many cases, it helps you avoid needing medicine. That is its real value. Disease does not need much. It only takes one mistake. In terms of cost, soap is one of the cheapest things you can prepare. And unlike many other items, it can last a very long time without going bad. You can buy in bulk, store it in a dry place, and almost never worry about replacing it for a long time. But what matters is not how much you have, It is whether you can maintain hygiene habits when things become difficult. Because in a crisis, the danger is not always lack of food, but illness coming from small things. When basic items start to run out, soap becomes something of very high practical value. Because the need for it is constant, daily, and cannot be ignored. Someone who cannot stay clean will be willing to trade other things just to regain that sense of cleanliness. You do not stock soap because it is special. You stock it because you know you will need it every day, no matter what happens. Remember this: in a crisis, cleanliness is not a luxury. It is part of survival. And sometimes, what threatens you is not hunger, but disease from things you cannot see. If you could not buy more for a month, would you have enough to keep yourself and your family clean? 7. Basic medications. One of the biggest mistakes in a crisis is thinking you will always have a doctor when needed. But the reality is, you will not. When the healthcare system is overloaded, hospitals are crowded, supply is disrupted. What you lack is not money, but time and medicine. When everything is still normal, pain relievers and fever reducers are just things you use when needed. Cheap, easy to buy, always available. But when you cannot buy more or when you need them and do not have them, everything changes very quickly. A high fever, persistent pain, a minor inflammation under normal conditions, these are small problems. But in a crisis, they can exhaust you, disrupt your sleep, and gradually take away your ability to stay in control. Imagine having a fever, but no medication to reduce it. You do not need a severe injury. Just being unable to control the pain is enough to break you down. You will not have a doctor immediately, and you will not have antibiotics when needed. And at that point, what you already have becomes your limit. A few basic medications can help reduce fever, relieve pain, and stabilize you in the first days, enough to give you time to adapt. They do not cure everything, but they keep you from collapsing too early. A small pill can determine whether you can endure or not. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest things to prepare in advance. But when supply is disrupted or demand spikes, medication is one of the fastest items to disappear, and there is almost no replacement. There is no backup plan for medicine. That is why stockpiling is not just buying and storing. You need to check expiration dates, rotate regularly, use older stock first, and replace it with new ones, so that when needed, what you have is still effective. In shortage situations, basic medications are almost always among the highest value items. When someone is in pain, has a fever, or cannot endure anymore, they will do anything to get them. And at that point, a few small pills can be worth more than you think. You do not stock medicine because you think you will need it immediately. You stock it because you know when you do, you may not have any way to find it. Remember this: a small pill may not seem important today, but when needed, it can be worth more than anything you have. Someone with a fever will trade anything for medicine if you could not buy more for a few weeks. Would you have enough to handle basic problems for yourself and your family? 6. Adhesive bandages. The reality is, a small scratch is almost not worth thinking about. You put on a bandage, a few days later it heals, and you forget about it. But in a crisis, things are no longer that simple. A small wound is no longer small. When you cannot keep a wound clean, when the environment around you is not safe, a small cut can quickly turn into an infection. And when you do not have medicine, do not have proper conditions to treat it, the problem does not stop at discomfort. It starts affecting your health and your ability to function. A small wound leads to infection, leads to loss of strength, leads to loss of ability to work. That chain happens faster than you think. Adhesive bandages are not a complex solution. They are just a simple layer of protection, helping shield the wound from dirt and bacteria, enough for you to control the situation from the beginning. And in many cases, handling it correctly early on is what helps you avoid bigger problems later. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest things you can prepare. But its value is not in the price. It is in the timing. When you have it, it is just a bandage. But when you do not, it becomes something you wish you had prepared. Wounds do not wait for you to be ready. They happen unexpectedly, and you need to handle them immediately. That is why you should not keep just one box at home. Keep them in multiple places, in your bag, in your car, in your everyday backpack, wherever you can use them right away. Because in real situations, you do not have time to go looking. You do not prepare adhesive bandages because you hope to use them. You prepare them because you know that if you need them and do not have them, the consequences will be much bigger. Remember this: in normal life, it is just a scratch. But in a crisis, it can be the start of a serious problem. If you were injured right now, would you have enough to handle it immediately? 5. Hand sanitizer. You cannot see bacteria, but it can see you. In normal life, hand sanitizer is just a convenience, something you use when needed and sometimes forget it even exists. But if you look back at what happened during the pandemic, you will see how quickly its value changed. In a very short time, hand sanitizer disappeared from shelves, not because it was rare, but because everyone needed it at the same time. And when that happens, a small, cheap item becomes something you cannot find. When you cannot wash your hands regularly, when you have to touch many things every day, hand sanitizer becomes the fastest layer of protection you have. Not perfect, but immediate. And in many situations, having it now matters more than having the best. Risk does not come from one moment. It comes from repetition every day. A small bottle helps you keep your hands clean while moving, reduces the buildup of risk, and protects you in environments you cannot control. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest things to prepare in advance. But when demand spikes suddenly, it is also one of the fastest to go out of stock. And like many other things, by the time you realize you need it, it is usually gone. That is why you should not keep just one bottle at home. Have multiple small bottles placed in different locations, wherever you can use them immediately, because its value lies in when you use it, not when you store it. You do not prepare hand sanitizer because it is special. You prepare it because you know you will touch the world around you every day. Remember this: you cannot see bacteria, but it does not need you to see it to cause problems. If you had to go outside right now without it, would you really feel safe? 4. Duct tape. If something in your home broke right now, could you fix it immediately, or would you have to wait, look for tools, or leave it as it is? In normal life, you have many options, but in a crisis, you do not have that comfort. And that is when something as simple as duct tape becomes extremely valuable. Because it is not just an item, it is a solution. When you do not have enough tools, no replacements, no time to fix things properly, duct tape gives you an immediate way to handle it. Not perfect, not permanent, but enough to keep you going. A loose window, a broken object, something that needs to be secured quickly. In situations like that, you do not need the best solution. You need the one available right now. And that is when duct tape shows its true value. It may not look good, may not last forever, but it works. When you do not have tools, duct tape becomes the solution. In terms of use, duct tape can be used for temporary repairs, sealing, securing, even protecting important items from the environment. In many situations, you do not need specialized equipment, just a roll of tape and some flexibility. That is why many people call it the MacGyver tool. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest items compared to the value it provides. One roll can be used in many different situations, but like other items, its real value only appears when you have no other options. For storage, you should have multiple rolls, placed in different locations, at home, in your car, in your emergency kit, because you do not know when you will need it, and you do not want to search for it when things have already happened. In shortage situations, when things start breaking, when there are no proper ways to repair, duct tape becomes a practical trade item. Everyone will need to fix something, and when there is no other solution, they will look for anything that can help them get by. A roll of duct tape can extend the life of many things, and in a crisis, time is an advantage. You do not prepare duct tape because it is perfect. You prepare it because it works when you have no other choice. Remember this: if a problem cannot be solved with duct tape, you are dealing with a big problem. If something important in your home broke today, would you have a way to handle it immediately? 3. Plastic zip ties. How many things in your home could be secured in just a few seconds, and if something comes loose, falls apart, or needs to be tied right now, do you have a way to handle it immediately? What people do not realize is plastic zip ties are something almost no one pays attention to. They are small, cheap, and often forgotten in a corner somewhere. But in situations that require quick action, when you do not have enough tools, no time, zip ties become one of the most useful things you have, because they are fast, simple, and they hold things immediately. With just one pull, you can secure an object, tighten something in place, or keep everything where it belongs. No skill needed, no tools required. Just having them allows you to handle the situation on the spot. And in a crisis, that is exactly what you need. A solution fast enough to keep things from getting worse. A loose wire, a torn bag, something that needs to be secured, if not handled in time. Those small problems can quickly turn into bigger issues. But if you have a way to tie it immediately, you maintain control. You do not need a perfect solution, you need an immediate one. That is the role of zip ties. They may not replace specialized tools, but in many situations, they help you hold things together. Keep everything stable until you find a better solution. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest items you can buy. But because they are cheap, many people do not prepare them. And when needed, they realize they have nothing to handle things quickly. For storage, you should have multiple sizes, placed in different locations. At home, in your car, in your backpack, in your emergency kit. Because you do not know what you will need to secure, or when. And when the situation happens, you will not have time to look for solutions. In shortage situations, when things start breaking, loosening, needing temporary fixes, zip ties become an item of very high practical value, not because they are rare, but because they solve problems immediately. And when someone needs to secure something right then, they will need it now, not tomorrow. You will not think about it until you truly need it. You do not prepare zip ties because they are important. You prepare them because you know there will be a time you need a quick solution. Remember this: in many situations, you do not lack tools. You lack a way to act immediately. If something broke right now, would you have a way to secure it in seconds? 2. Candles. If the power went out right now, what would you be able to see around you? In 2021, millions of people in the United States experienced power outages lasting hours, even days. And what they realized very quickly was, when electricity disappears, what you lose is not just light, but the sense of control. The reality is, candles are something almost no one thinks about. They are cheap, simple, and usually only appear on special occasions. But when everything around you falls into darkness, when you cannot turn on lights, cannot charge your phone, a small light source becomes something you need immediately. Not tomorrow, but right then. When the lights go out, your familiar space changes completely. You cannot see clearly, cannot navigate easily, and everything becomes more uncertain. In that state, even a small source of light can make a huge difference. A candle does not just help you see, it helps you orient yourself, move more safely, and most importantly, stay calm. Because in the dark, what makes people uncomfortable is not just the lack of visibility, but the feeling of losing control. A small amount of light can bring that back. Unlike many other devices, candles do not need batteries, do not need electricity, and do not depend on any system. As long as you have them, you have light. Simple, stable, and reliable when everything else stops working. That is their real value. In the dark, light is not a convenience. It is safety. In terms of cost, candles are one of the cheapest things you can prepare in advance. You can buy in bulk, store them in a cool, dry place, and use them for a long time without worrying about damage. But when widespread outages happen, they are also one of the most sought-after items, because everyone needs light, and not everyone has a backup plan. And like many other things, by the time you realize you need them, they are usually gone. In those situations, a candle is no longer decoration. It becomes a real source of light. When others have no light, they will start looking for those who do. And in moments like that, a small candle can be worth more than many things you carry. You do not prepare candles because they are special. You prepare them because you know there will be a time you need light without electricity. Remember this: in the dark, light is not just for seeing, it is for staying calm. If the power went out tonight, would you have enough light to avoid complete darkness? 1. Trash bags. If tomorrow you need to keep something dry, but it is raining, the environment is damp, and you have no waterproof equipment, what would you do? In normal life, trash bags are something you use and throw away. Cheap, simple, and almost no special value. But in a crisis, when conditions are no longer favorable, when you face rain, water, dirt, and an uncontrolled environment, a trash bag becomes one of the most versatile items you have. Because it is not just for trash. It can be used for waterproofing, wrapping important items, keeping clothes dry, creating temporary cover, even acting as protection when you need to move in harsh conditions. In situations where you have no other options, a trash bag can become a rain cover, a shelter, or a simple but effective layer of protection. You do not need a perfect solution. You need something you can use immediately. And that is when trash bags show their true value. In terms of cost, this is one of the cheapest things you can buy. But because it is so cheap, many people do not think about storing it. And when needed, They realize they have nothing to protect their belongings from water or the environment. In terms of preparation, you should have different types: thick bags, large bags, small bags, to use in various situations. Keep them in multiple places: at home, in your car, in your backpack, because you do not know when you will need them, and you do not want to improvise when it is too late. In shortage situations, when things start to degrade, when you need to protect items, keep things dry, or create cover, trash bags also become a valuable trade item. Not everyone thinks about them, but those who understand how to use them will look for them quickly. And in those moments, a simple bag can be worth more than you think. You do not prepare trash bags because they are special. You prepare them because you know they can do more than you expect. Remember this: this is not just a trash bag. This is a survival tool. If you needed to keep everything dry right now, what would you use? You can see, all of these things are very ordinary, cheap, easy to buy, and always available. But the issue is not when you can buy them. It is when you cannot anymore. When things change, the gap between stability and panic is not about money. It is about preparation. One night without light, one day without hygiene, one untreated wound, each small thing, but enough to make you lose control. You do not need to prepare for everything. You just need to avoid being caught unprepared. Remember this: the most ordinary things are the ones you will need first. But there is something more important. You may have all the tools, but without the right food, you will weaken very quickly. In the next video, I will share 6 simple foods that help older adults maintain strength and get through difficult times. If everything stopped tomorrow, would you be ready?